A lot of people come to me for therapy for this problem, and it's challenging and difficult because it's hard to kind of figure this out. It's like part of your brain knows that your reaction is, not really lining up with, reality and what's happening around you. And yet you seem, powerless to do anything about it. And that can be very damaging to the self-esteem because then you feel like you're broken. There's something wrong with you. So I want to say to you, if that's happening for you, you're not broken. Like there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your entire system, your brain, your autonomic nervous system, your mind, your emotions have all been wired on a hair trigger. Hey everybody, this is Dr. Laird Bridgman. I am your friendly neighborhood psychologist, and I'm here to talk with you today about a subject that was posted by one of you guys. I was asked to talk about emotion regulation or emotion dysregulation. Because the thing that is true for human beings is that it can be very difficult for some of us to control our emotions. So let's talk today about why emotion regulation is hard. And let's talk about what actually helps. So emotions are not regulated by like suppression or logic alone. They're regulated through predictions, safety signals, learned responses. They are patterned after all of the especially dangerous, traumatic, dramatic experiences that we've lived in our lives. At one level, when we're experiencing emotional dysregulation, it's because we have experienced a lot of drama and trauma in our lives. So basically, we have lived in many situations, too many situations, that were emotionally dysregulating experiences. Now, that's most often traumas and traumas. But I understand a lot of people come to me for therapy for this problem, and it's challenging and difficult because it's hard to kind of figure this out. It's like part of your brain knows that your reaction is, not really lining up with, reality and what's happening around you. And yet you seem, powerless to do anything about it. And that can be very damaging to the self-esteem because then you feel like you're broken. There's something wrong with you. So I want to say to you, if that's happening for you, you're not broken. Like there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your entire system, your brain, your autonomic nervous system, your mind, your emotions have all been wired on a hair trigger. And it's easy to say, harder to do, to challenge yourself to retrain this system to respond in a more regulated fashion. Okay? But there are some things we can do. Let's do three things. Right? So let's do first that regulation happens through the body first. The body's emotionally dysregulating part of its system, primarily the limbic system, has to do with our fight, flight, or freeze response system. So when we're in danger, we think we're in danger. We're in a moment where the proverbial crapola has hit the proverbial fanola, then of course our body is going to respond like fight, flight, or freeze. So our heart rate is going to get really rapid. Our blood pressure is going to go up. Our muscle tension is going to go up. This is all about danger as a signal from the body to the mind. Problem is that while that happens naturally when you are young and is adaptive and does help you survive those kind of things when you're young, when you're no longer in danger, these kind of response signals have been ingrained in you. That leads to the emotional dysregulation, but they don't help you. They don't make you more likely to adapt and, cope in a better way. They make you more likely to struggle, to be emotionally, kind of spent, especially after any period of time dealing with this. So three things. Regulation happens to the body first, right? So get a hold of the body. The autonomic nervous system has two sides, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So we have a gas pedal and a brake pedal. And they are oppositional sides, right? So you cannot be relaxed and excited at the same time. So if you can control any one part of that system, you control the whole thing. And so amazingly, the breath is a way to control everything. So if you can learn to do slow, controlled breathing, just like this. Your whole autonomic nervous system puts on the brakes. Everything gets chill and calm. If you put a little mindfulness with that, you do that breath, and you just pay attention to air going in through your nose and air coming out of your mouth. Just focus your attention on that sensation while you're breathing. Your whole body, your whole system is going to calm itself down. So we're sending safety signals when our body has been kicking out danger signals, right? So first, get a hold of the body. Second, we need to get a hold of emotions. So the problem with emotions is the emotion center of the brain is a separate section from the part of the brain that does logic and rational thought. So what we need to do is find a way to get our rational part of our brain to be more in charge of that emotional center. So we don't want to not have the emotions, but we want to engage with them, connect with them. So the best thing to do is to name your emotions. Now, for those of you who have trouble naming your emotions, like I know people that know like 5 emotion words. They know frustrated, they know sad, they know happy, and then they know mad, and they know bored. And that's it. But there's a whole lot more, let's say, richness to vocabulary that we can have for a wide range of emotions. So I will put up an image here of something called the word wheel. And you can find this on Google. And it's a nice little tool because you start at around the center where the hub is, and you find the major category. So the major category like anger, frustration. And then you can go out, further out towards the spokes. And the further away you get from the hub, then the more precise words you're using. So if you go from angry to frustrated to irritated. Irritated is a much more refined and specific word than angry, okay? So start naming your emotions. Build your skills at identifying and naming them. Sit with a word wheel or some other tool like that, list of emojis, and then name them out loud, as well as write them out. Nothing you have to keep. You can throw it away right away afterwards, but just spend a little time getting this part of your brain to get active. The more we use a variety of parts of our brain to process what we're experiencing, then the more regulated or controlled or managed our feelings are going to be. Again, the point is not to not have them. The point is to not let them run you. Okay. The third thing is that connection regulates faster than isolation. So oftentimes when we get dysregulated like this, we want to isolate. We don't want to be around others because we tend to get more activated. But it's actually the opposite is what we need. So if we can do the first 2 steps and get things a little more calm, then we can find somebody that's safe that we can connect with. Now, whether that's an individual or whether it's a group of some kind that you're a part of, a community that you're a part of, that will help your whole nervous system start to regulate because there are things called mirror neurons. And so the more you're around people that are calm and peaceful, safe, then the more that your brain starts to mirror what it's seeing from them. And so then you put yourself in a better environment instead of being around a bunch of other people that are dysregulated. Find some people that are more regulated and connected, and let that feeling of connection replace that feeling of being broken and defective. Okay. So remember, if regulating your emotions is difficult for you, that does not mean that you are weak or that you're defective or that you're broken. It just means you have been through the ringer and you bear the scars to show it. And now it's just time for some healing. Okay. So just a reminder, we're not trying to be calm through everything. We're all not going to be zen at all times. We're going to get upset. That's fine. That's okay. That means we're human, right? That we have feelings, that we have emotions. We're supposed to. Emotions are the color to life. Without emotions, the whole world would just be rather black and white. That's boring, right? So we don't want to get rid of emotions, right? We just don't want to let them run us, okay? We want to manage them. We want to have them. want to understand them, want to let them be what they are, but just not more than that. So listen, I really appreciate you tuning in. And if you made it this far in the video, I hope one of three things have happened. I hope maybe you feel a little better understood, or you understand something better about yourself. I hope maybe you learned something. And last, I hope maybe you enjoyed the video, or at least parts of it. And if you did, lastly, I hope you'll join us again. So tune in for my next video, probably in another few weeks. Always hard to tell. I try to get them out once a month, but my schedule is a little bit tight to get there. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me hear how you're doing with emotional regulation. If you want more content on that, let me know. And also, if you have other topics you'd like for me to address, feel free to put your comments down below. I will indeed read them, and I will try and make a video addressing the issues that you let me know you want to address. All right. Thank you all so much. Be well and make it a great day.